What's up, guys? If you can believe it or not, we're already at week 4 of the NFL season. So here at Bet On Us, we're going to give you our favorite picks of the week. We'll sprinkle in some weekend specials, talk some baseball, college football. We love NFL, but we're going to cover it all today. Sab, we killed it again on Thursday, dude.
It's our night. Basically, we should just be on the Amazon Prime pregame show giving out analysis at this point when it comes to Thursday night. Cowboys gave us a little bit of a scare,
Oh, yeah.
but they did hold on it, and pretty much it was an awful game. Let's be honest. It was not
Disgusting.
very visually aesthetic to watch, but I mean, they covered -4.5. CeeDee
Yep.
Lamb got his yards before we even put the game on. It seemed like he was at midway through the second quarter. He got it, so. Another successful Thursday for us.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Like I said, in our recap in the middle of the week, I was able to catch the Cowboys at -4.5 on Sunday. So right after their loss to the Ravens, I know that line moved on a lot of sports books during the course of the week. So I will admit I got lucky there. I saw 4.5. I was like, forget about it. I'll take it. And I think most people were like, hey, if I pick the Cowboys throughout the week, I'm golden. And then Aubrey misses a field goal that no matter what line you took, whether it was 5, 6, 6.5, you were set. And who could have foreseen that, man?
Well, he got the phone call, so he got the call, and no, but going back to what
Could
you
have been.
said, yeah, I mean, you never know these days. Going back to what you said about the getting it earlier in the week, this is why if you love a spread, don't wait. Get it before don't wait and say maybe it'll go down, because there's always that chance it goes up like it did. And I got it early, and then I got greedy and said, you know what, they're gonna win by 7 or more. Let me put another. I took 5.5 as well. Ended up missing that one, obviously.
Yep.
But 4.5 we got. But
Yep.
that's why you take it as soon as you see it and you like it. Don't hesitate and get on there when you can, because you see what happens. The guy that's
True.
hitting 60-yard field goals in his sleep misses a 50-yarder and costs you the spread.
Yeah. And I'll
Tough.
tell you what, speaking to that point of like how the lines can move during the week, I've got one I'm going to show you today in a little bit, and I think it's going to move. I wouldn't be surprised if it even
Mm-hmm.
swaps. Little teaser. This is an NFL one Sunday night. We're going to get
Ooh,
there.
yeah,
But
that's
it's not making sense to me, the line right now, and I would foresee this moving.
it's
But
possible.
as we're recording this, yeah, we're Saturday morning, right before college football kicks off. This, I think, so far is the best weekend of college football that we're going to see. Obviously, highlighted by tonight, you got Bama, Georgia. That's crazy. I mean, this was one. I know we're going to talk about it. I struggled making my pick. I didn't have a ton of conviction. I'm going to be honest. But Sad, why don't you kick that off?
So basically, I've been talking about this game for since week 1, since Georgia opened up against Clemson. I got into it with a couple Georgia fans and said I can't wait for Alabama to railroad Georgia in a couple weeks. So spoiler alert, you know where I'm going. But yeah, man, this game, Alabama's won 8 of the last 9 against Georgia. The only one they lost was that national, or was the I think it was the national championship game, I believe, and that they ended up beating Alabama a couple years ago with Bryce Young at the helm for Alabama. Um, it's gonna be
Great
interesting, man. It's
quarterback.
gonna be what's that? What's that?
I said great quarterback.
Oh yeah, great quarterback in college. Yeah, I mean, I've been looking forward to this game. I love Jalen Milroe. He's my favorite player to watch in college football right now. I love watching him last year as well. The way he can run and pass, the dual threat for Alabama, something Alabama hasn't had really. Before Bryce Young, they never really had that, and now it seems
Mhm.
that's what they're going to be going for all the time. This game is going to be amazing. It's going to live up to the hype. The spread was actually when I bet. So I bet Alabama to win outright. And by the way, that's one of my
Okay.
plays. So we'll we'll
Okay.
we'll stick with that. We'll go into the plays later, but it was at +4.5 when I saw it. It's now +1 for Alabama. So
Mhm.
obviously people are riding Alabama over the coming weeks. It's gone
Oh
down a
yeah.
point, I think, each week since that week 1, or since I looked at it 2 weeks ago. So I really like Alabama in this game. I think they can control everything. I'm not going to say Georgia's overrated, because they're not. They're a team that hasn't lost a regular season game in forever. They haven't lost a road game since I think 2020, and the last game they lost on the road was at Alabama.
Yep.
So this is their kryptonite. Alabama's always been their kryptonite, and I think it continues tonight. Uh, We'll see what happens. It's just going to be, I can't wait for it. I'm really excited. I'm not going to get any work done at the bar tonight because I'm going to be staring at the TV all night.
Yeah. I hear you, man. And we could start right there because as you guys know, we do these weekend specials. So there are picks that are outside of NFL pick'em. This is when we get into other sports, right now. And so one of mine is the Bama Georgia game
Yeah.
tonight, and I'm on the opposite side, Sab. I'm taking Georgia.
All
All
right.
right, and again, it's not like I love Georgia or I love Alabama. They're both awesome teams. I'm usually a Tide fan, but I was more of a Bama fan with Nick Saban. I just thought that was a dynasty.
Oh yeah.
Obviously,
It was
that
for sure.
was
For
a
sure.
run for the ages. He's not there anymore. I think that makes a difference. You lost probably the best coach of all time. I think there's still a lot to kind of figure out as you get into these really, really tough games of how these situations unfold. When you don't have that exactly that same structure or that guy at the helm. So I think that's the difference. To your
Hmm.
point, Milrow, love him. I think he's a sick quarterback. I was watching game day this morning, and Saban was talking about how they use him so much in the run game and
Yep.
how Lamar Jackson like he is that they do that RPO or they do some of the designed runs where it looks like he's unstoppable, like
Yeah.
it's a free 10 yards. But with that said, he is prone to mistakes. And if you look on the Georgia side of the ball and we go back to quarterback play, Carson Beck, I think, is more of your just pure passing, frankly, better quarterback. And I think that could be the difference in tonight's game. You
Hmm.
have stars all across the board. You got great defenses. You got two different types of quarterbacks here, but I think one is more accident prone than the other. And so whether it's something like a Milrow fumble on one of these rushes he goes for, or he just gets flustered, throws an interception, I see something like that being the difference in tonight's game.
Hmm.
And for that reason, I'm taking Georgia. I know they're a 1 point favorite. So it's pretty much even money, no matter
Yeah.
how you look at it or what
Yep.
it comes to tonight. I'm taking Georgia. With that said, though, I want to share one thing because I love looking at the ESPN analytics.
Of
This
course.
digests all the data that's out there, comes up with their analysis. It is heavy, heavy Alabama. All right,
Ooh.
right now, as we talk, Sab, ESPN Analytics has Alabama with a 66% odds of winning the game.
Mm.
That isn't even close. That's not
Oh.
52-48, 51-49. 66% odds of Bama winning the game. And I'm telling you, ESPN doesn't know what they're doing right now. Give me Georgia.
Well, it's funny you said that because these guys don't play each other usually at either's house, right? It's usually a
Correct.
neutral SEC championship or in the college football playoff. It's always neutral site. So that's probably where the analytics lie. They're going, okay, well, Alabama's at home. They got the home crowd behind them. Not going to be a lot of Georgia fans. Carson Beck really hasn't won a true road game or a test like this.
Mm-hmm.
His last loss, the last time he played Alabama, he did look great. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting, man. I'm really excited for it. Like I said, I think I'm more excited for this game than I am maybe in any NFL game I can talk about so
Yeah.
far anyway this year or even going forward.
Yeah, and I think, with Michigan sliding, you got to kind of say, hey, is
Yeah.
this the national championship right here? Like,
It could be.
yeah, I mean, Texas, they're looking awesome. But I think
Yeah.
when you boil it all down and you say, I want the two best teams in college football, usually you come down to Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this
Usually in
is going
that
to be sick.
SEC for sure. Usually in that
Yep.
SEC, definitely.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. So, you got any others weekend specials in the
Yeah, let's
NCAA?
let's let's dive into it. So obviously, I love Bama on the money line. That's my college football play. I've been waiting all year for that one.
Boo.
We'll see what happens. I really just think Jalen Milrow is going to be the difference in that game, and like you said, running the football. The dual threat that he is, and I think Alabama's defense doesn't get talked about as much as it should too. And I think they're going to give Carson Beck hell. And I'm not the biggest Carson Beck fan. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's going to play at the next level. But he can really change my mind tonight if he can pull this one out. But I just think
Mhm.
Alabama's going to be too much. And I hate to say this, but the mindset this year is different for teams like Georgia and Alabama, even, or even Texas, because there's 12 teams going to that playoffs now. You
True.
can lose a game. Not that they want to lose a game. Don't get me wrong. Like Notre Dame fell early. If they can run the table, they're still going to get in because they're Notre Dame. But the mindset is just not okay. We have to win every single game because if we lose, like last year, you saw Georgia lose one, and we're going to be out. It's just not the case. So if it gets down to it, I think that goes in the back of these kids' head, just maybe even a little bit, to where if it's like, all right, we're down 10 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but
Mhm.
obviously that's probably not what they're thinking, but it might be just a little bit. So I love Alabama. We're going to go to the NFL. You know me, I love my player props, and we've been crushing those actually.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it,
So
man.
we'll start with a guy who's been picking up where he left off in Buffalo for Houston, Mr. Stefon Diggs. There's no Tank Dell in this game. Nico Collins hurt his hamstring in practice, so he's a hobble a little bit. My associate behind me seems to agree with me. Izzy, Stefon Diggs over 5.5 catches. He had 10 last week. I think that is very, very achievable. I think we might see that happen pretty early. 5.5 seems pretty low, which could be a sucker bet at this point, but give me Stefon Diggs over 5.5 catches all day, any day, against anyone at any time. So I
Okay.
like that one. Then we're sticking with receiver. Uh, Last week, Jamar Chase went absolutely nuts, killed me in fantasy on the last night of the week in Monday night. I needed him to not go crazy. He did. His over under against the Panthers is set at 76.5. I think him and Joe Burrow, after the holdout, they're finally clicking after
Yep.
last week. I don't see him letting up against the Panthers. Give me Jamar Chase over 76.5 receiving yards against the Panthers. I like that. And
Yep.
then my last one, a guy who hit this in the first quarter last week. Okay. Kyler Murray loves running the ball, right? Loves it, running quarterback. He is probably the most, maybe other than Lamar Jackson, he's looking to run before pass a lot of the
Yep.
times. His over under set at 34.5 rushing yards. He had 37 in the first quarter last week. He's playing against Washington, who gave up a ton of yards to the Bengals last week. I think that's going to be another shootout. I think he's going to be running around like crazy. So give me Kyler Murray over 34.5 rushing yards. So the
Okay.
four we got, we'll just recap real quick. Bama money
Sure.
line against Georgia. Stefon Diggs over 5.5 catches against the Jaguars. Jamar Chase over 76.5 receiving yards against the Panthers, and then Kyler Murray over 34.5 rush yards against the Commanders. That's my
Damn, and
plays.
there you have it, Sabs weekend specials.
Let's do it.
And
And they
just
are
a,
parlayed this week. I am not missing out on an opportunity like I did
ooh,
last week. I'm not
get
missing out.
bold.
Just in case. Just in case.
Yep, had a good
Yep.
week 3. See if you
Yep.
can repeat it this time around.
Exactly. Yep.
And just a quick public service announcement to all of our listeners. Make sure you guys follow us on social media because, yeah, we have our Saturday rundown of the weekend. We have our midweek recap where we sprinkle in some other things too. But on social media, we're always sharing what you got to hear.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, last night, Friday night, the U is playing Virginia Tech. They go in a 17.5 point favorite. Miami is cruising. Quarterback is, Heisman favorite right now. And
Yep.
then Virginia Tech just comes out and starts really doing some damage. All right, we go towards the end of the game. Miami's down 10 points. All right, I saw that. I said, Miami is just knocking on the door. Like they are ready to explode. I jumped all over that
Yeah.
live bet right there. Miami as a big underdog at that point, down
Yeah.
10, going towards the end of the game. If you didn't see it, go watch the highlights. Sick ending.
What an
It was an
insane.
incomplete pass.
Yep.
That was the right call. That
It
ball
was.
was moving. And then Miami came out, and was victorious. So just a little PSA, keep up with some of the live stuff we're putting out there too, because those can be some fun hits
Yeah.
that you might pick up.
And it's funny because I actually had it they were down 10, 34-24, I think, around the third quarter, and they were plus 190 to win the game. And I'm
Yes.
like, man, I should do it. Put my phone down, went and did something with the kids, went and put my daughter to sleep, came
Yep.
back. It was a 4-point game, and it wasn't worth doing it. So yeah, that was a good move by you. I should
Yeah.
have
Yeah. When
jumped
I
all
got
over.
it, I don't know what the exact odds were, but it was $30 to win just over 100.
Oof,
I put it in at that
hell
point, and
yeah.
then yeah, they started clicking.
Excellent. Yeah, that
So
was smart. That's I love those live bets, especially with the heavy favorites. You got to think, all right, they're not going to fall at home. They're not
yep.
going to lose this game. They're going to figure it out. And Cam Ward did. He figured it out, man. He is fun to watch, man. He is
Yeah.
another guy.
He's
Another
sick.
guy
And
that's really
going
good.
back to, that we got the expanded playoff this year, you can afford to lose a game. I'll say that is true, but in my opinion, you can't afford to lose the games that you gotta win. All right,
Right.
because when you take let's say a Notre Dame losing to Northern Illinois, I mean, it's like, what? Did I
Yeah.
hear that right? Guess what?
Exactly.
Notre Dame's going to play stiff competition moving forward. So then there's a good chance that they lose 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if you lose 2 games, it may not be so easy to get into that playoff. So yeah, I think there's a little more room for error,
This is
but
where the
it
life
can't
aspect.
happen.
This is where the life aspect comes in, guys. Isabella, can you please turn that down? This is what happens, guys. Live TV. Can you please
That's
turn it
right.
down? Turn it down, please. Thank you
And
very
so
much.
while we get the studio back in
Yeah.
order over here, we're gonna pivot to BK's specials of the week. And I already gave you one of them. I got Georgia tonight beating Alabama. That's my pick. Sab and I differ there,
Can't
but
wait.
that's okay.
Can't wait for that one. We'll be talking some smack tonight for
Oh,
sure.
hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And then I got two others, really college football heavy weekend here. I'm taking Oklahoma to beat Auburn as a 1 point underdog. All right.
Ooh,
Oklahoma is a 1 point underdog. Auburn, in my opinion, is in disarray right now. And Oklahoma, I think they're ready to go. They're the better team. All right. Auburn's only 2-2. All right. They beat Alabama A&M and they beat New Mexico. Okay. They have shown me nothing good. I think that Oklahoma can take it to Auburn. So keep your eyes on that one. Oklahoma, again, as a 1 point underdog. I'll take the money line against Auburn. Next up, Louisville plus 6.5 against Notre Dame. All right, Louisville's undefeated. They got some monster wins, yeah, against softer competition, but their offense is off the charts. The quarterback looks great. Show their quarterback has 8 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They're primed to go. Notre Dame, their quarterback Leonard has 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Again, like I said, they lost to Northern Illinois. They got to figure things out there. With Louisville getting plus 6.5, I'll take Louisville with the spread against Notre Dame. Then again, Georgia over Alabama. We talked about that one. And then my fourth special of the week, which will kind of segue us into our NFL pick'em. We got the Buffalo Bills as a underdog against the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Bills are the hottest team in football. Your superhero, Josh Allen, is the man. Their defense looks great. And guys, I know I'm a Cowboys fan, but the Cowboys don't look too hot, and they almost beat the Ravens. So I think there, you got to take the Bills. Right now, I'm looking at plus 114 money line. Give me the Bills over the Ravens. That is my fourth
love that.
special of
Love
the
it.
weekend.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. You know I love the Bills, so
Yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
Bills Mafia, baby.
it's hard to pick against them any week when Josh Allen has a pulse. I mean, it really is. It's really hard to pick against them for me especially.
MVP
But
right now.
right, I'm gonna
MVP.
and as a crazy stat with the Bills. I think the spread's like +2 right now, so that doesn't really apply. But they've now gone, I think, 48 straight games without losing a game by more than 6 points. So that's something to. Obviously, they're
Insane.
never really that big of an underdog anywhere they go, but that is a crazy stat to me. I mean, Josh Allen always has his team in the game. He may cost them in the past when he threw some knucklehead passes, but he seems to be playing so freely right now without Mr. Diggs, who's in my four plays. But
Yeah.
man, he's just he even made a comment. He said it's nice to have a bunch of guys out that aren't worried about stats. So that was a little dig at Mr. Diggs, if you will.
Yeah.
But man, he looks different, man. He just does. He looks calm. He looks like there's no pressure,
Oh,
and
it's
he's got
making
a
it
lot
look
of.
easy.
It is a team game, and they are playing some team ball right now, all around.
Yep. Run game looks good. Pass game looks good.
Yep.
Defense looks good. I just think they're on I like the Ravens. I like Lamar.
Yeah.
We all know that. But I think the Bills are just on a different level right
Yep.
now. So to get them as an underdog, and this is what we said at the outside of the episode, guys, is these lines move. I'm looking at it. I'm like, how are the Bills an underdog? I wouldn't be surprised over the next day or so if that starts to even out, or
Yeah.
maybe the Ravens become the underdog. So that's one of those things. If you see the line you like, you maybe got to jump.
Sunday night football on the road. I mean, you got to give the Ravens a little bit of respect. I get it.
Mhm.
That's probably why. I mean, they're 1-2, but are they really a 1-2 team right now? No, they played some tough games. They played against Kansas City. They shouldn't have lost to the Raiders, of course, but beat the heck out of your Cowboys last week, obviously. So I mean,
By three
it.
points at the end of
Yeah,
the
well,
day.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. They did come back. Yeah, they tried, but yeah. So I think that's where that lies. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll get into the pick 'em and we'll talk about it more, obviously. So
Yeah, go for it, man. This is
yeah.
and we'll put up the tally, the scoreboard between
Yes.
myself and Sab on this. I
Yes.
came out, guns a blazing. Week two, week three, disgusting.
Not
I'm
good.
ready for a bounce back. But you have honors,
It's
sir.
that time. All right, so let's get through it. We'll start with the 1 o'clock slate. I'm gonna go against my team again and hope it works for me. I'm gonna take the Jets over the Broncos. That's up to an 8 point spread now, which is a lot of points. But I think this is one of those games where I think the Broncos. All we're looking at right now is for Bo Nix to be the guy. We're not looking to even win football games at this point. I'll be brutally honest. I don't think Sean Payton cares about the record. He's not going to say that out loud. But as long as you have your quarterback, that's all that really matters going forward. So hopefully he can build off last week. But give me the Jets to win that game. Hopefully it's a close one. Then I like the Falcons against the Saints. I know the Falcons lost a tough one against the Chiefs and the refs last week. So give me the Falcons over the Saints. The Saints look like they came back down to earth against the Eagles, which I predicted last week. So give me the Falcons. And then I like the Bengals over the Panthers. The Bengals aren't going 0-4, right? They're not going to lose their old quarterback Andy Dalton in Carolina, right? You
Mm-mm.
never know, but I think it is panic time in Cincinnati if they don't win this one. But give me
Agreed.
the Bengals. I like the Rams, a little bit of an upset. Rams over the Bears in Chicago. Yeah, Caleb Williams played a little better last week, had over 300 yards passing, but the Rams, Stafford is a veteran quarterback. They lost Cup and Puka. You're thinking, what are you doing? But they ran the football with Kyron Williams. They're going to run it down the Bears' throat in this game. And I like the Rams over the Bears on a little bit of an upset. Another one that you can is the spread might not say so, but it could be a minor upset, being the Vikings are 3-0 right now, going to Green Bay. Jordan Love looks like he's coming back. Give me the Packers at home against the Vikings to give the Vikings their first loss. Texans and Jags. This one's another one I struggled with. It's like, are the Jags going to go 0-4 after they gave Trevor Lawrence 9,000, $900 million, whatever it was? Yes, they are. Texans over the Jags. That's a 6-point spread. I think the Texans win that. Colts over the Steelers. I'm kind of leaning upsets here as far as the spreads go. Steelers are 3-0 going into Indy. I think this is one of those games where it's not a trap game, but it kind of is. Give me the Colts. I think the Colts win a squeaker. In that one, a very very probably ugly game, like 13-9, which is the Steelers playing a lot. Give me the Colts. Eagles over the Bucs. Eagles going into Tampa. I think they got some momentum coming back from that win against New Orleans. The Bucs kind of showed who they were against my Broncos. I don't think we're that great. I don't think we are going to look like that every week. Give me the Eagles over the Bucs. And then getting into the 4 o'clock games, I like the Cardinals over the Commanders. I know the Commanders are playing great ball right now, but the Cardinals at home, I love what Kyler Murray's doing. If the Cardinals can just maintain Jaden Daniels just enough, just a little bit, I think they'll take it. Then the 49ers over the Patriots. That's kind of an easy one. That's probably a lot of survivor picks this week if you're still in
Mm-hmm.
it. The Browns over the Raiders. The Raiders are banged up. They're no Devontae Adams, no Max Crosby. So they're basically their two best players are out, and they have a lot of quarterback issues. So give me the Browns. Chiefs over the Chargers. I'd love to pick the Chargers. I'd love to watch the Chiefs lose, but I don't think that's going to happen. Give me the Chiefs over the Chargers. And then we got the Sunday nighter. I tussled with it, but like I said, I can't do it. Give me the Bills over the Ravens. I think the Bills go 4-0. Ravens had a tough start to their season, so 1-3. Yeah, I think they'll bounce back. But give me the Bills. And then we got a doubleheader Monday night. Dolphins disarray, right? But they get to play the Titans and Will Levis, who loves giving the ball to the other team. Give me the Dolphins over the Titans in a squeaker, probably, because they got Skylar Thompson at the helm, which is very tough to watch. But give me the Dolphins. I think they'll run the ball. I think A-Chain has a big game in that one. And then I think the Lions hand the Seahawks their first loss on the other Monday nighter in Detroit. Monday night in Detroit, the place is going to be rocking. I like the Lions big in that game, actually. So give me the Lions over the Seahawks, and that's my week 4 pick 'em. Give it to you,
Got
brother.
it. Got it. Now let me share mine. All right. So these are BK's picks of the week, NFL Pick'em. I got the Jets beating the Broncos. I think that's the easy one. We're going to differ here. I got the Vikings beating the Packers. I think the Vikings just got so much momentum. I don't think that's about to stop. We'll agree on the Falcons beating the Saints, the Eagles beating the Bucs, the Bengals getting their act together against the Panthers, who, yeah, they had a nice week last week, but I still think the Panthers suck. Give me the Bengals beating the Panthers. This
Yeah.
is a tough one. Remember, I'm the fantasy football manager that has Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. All right. I am rooting like there's no tomorrow for the Jags to figure things out. I just don't think they do. And I think the Texans are still a good team. And CJ Stroud's just awesome. Give me the Texans over the
Yep.
Jags. We're going to go in different directions here, Sab. Steelers beating the Colts. All
Yep.
right. I
You
think
got a big chance to come back this week because I took a lot of I took some chances. So you got a lot. You got a good shot to come back and take the lead. I think I only have like a 3-game lead. Not to interrupt you, sorry, but yeah,
No,
go
no, no,
for
no, no. I agree.
it.
I just feel like TJ Watt is. We talk about Josh Allen on offense. TJ Watt just changes the game,
He
by
does, man.
himself. I think he's
Yeah.
going to continue to do that. Give me the Steelers over the Colts. All right, Rams beating the Bears. We're in agreement there. Easy pick. 49ers beating the Patriots. Give me the Cardinals over the Commanders. That one I'm a little scared by. I mean, this guy, Jaden Daniels, looks
Yeah.
like a stud. But give me the Cardinals in that one. And then this was a late audible, I will admit. I originally had the Raiders beating the Browns. I've said the
Mm.
Browns are the basement of the NFL.
Yeah.
But as you alluded to, some key injuries on the Raiders. Um, Ugly game. You know what? I'm going to take the Browns over the Raiders. Chiefs beating the Chargers, best team in football as far as I'm concerned. I love to see them and the Bills get at it like they always do. But for now, Chiefs will beat the Chargers. And then Sunday night, Bills beating the Ravens. That was my special of the week, guys. And then Monday night's doubleheader. We're going to go in different directions. I'll take the Titans over the Dolphins till they get their acts back together. Give me the Titans. And then we'll agree on the Lions beating the Seahawks. And those are my picks of the week.
Excellent. And go back to the Browns. I mean, you got to think if the Browns somehow lose this game in Las Vegas against that team, do they let Deshaun Watson on the plane? Like, do they just drop him off with his bag of cash and say, figure it out and go play roulette like in Vegas? Like, I just, man, I mean, that would just be a loss of epic proportions. I don't care if they're on the road. I mean, the Raiders just lost to the Panthers at home. I
Yes.
mean, this is
Yes.
just this is rough, man. This is gonna be a rough one. This is a Browns fans are very scared for this game because it's one of those games they should win. They should win handily because you have a much better team, a much better roster. Their two best players are out. That's a must win, and if they don't, it's gonna be the dog pound's
Yep.
gonna be barking, and not for the right reasons. That's for sure.
Yeah, right.
It'll be
It's
tough.
Sab. You know what? Give me who are the four worst teams in the NFL right now?
Well, I think you got to obviously start with the Titans. I think the Titans are really bad.
Ugh, I just picked them.
Yeah, I know. Well, I know that they've been close in games, but they their quarterback is just I don't every week he makes a bonehead play. The first 2 weeks they could have been 2-0 if he didn't make those two bonehead plays. And then he did another pick six against the Packers last week and it's just like, good lord, like what are you doing? I think him and then I think you got to look at the Panthers even
I like
though
you say him, not the
him, yeah,
Titans.
no,
This
that's
one guy
cuz
is the worst team.
absolutely. That's and that was not a mistake. That's what I meant to say. That's I mean it's him. It's not them. It's you, Will
Yeah.
Evans. Okay. So definitely him. I think the Panthers too. Even with Andy Dalton's emergence, I mean that roster is terrible. He lost his buddy Adam Thielen, who would have hit us the Hail Mary last week when we went 5 for 5. I think they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
Gosh, off the top of my head, who am I missing? I mean, the Jags right now look pretty bad, but I just don't put them in that category yet. They're too talented of a team. I think Trevor Lawrence is too talented of a quarterback to be playing like this. I think he'll right the ship. I don't think it's this week, but I think he
Hmm.
will.
I
At
hope
least
so, man.
at
I
least
hope so.
enough. At least enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I'm happy to say it's not my Broncos after last week.
Hmm.
But so I said three. Give me, I guess maybe the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders look pretty bad. I know they won against Baltimore, but
Yeah.
how far they've come in those 2 weeks, beating Baltimore and then losing at home to Carolina and then losing your two best players. I mean, does anybody feel comfortable betting the Raiders at all ever? I mean,
Yeah.
no. So I mean,
Yeah.
maybe that I could be forgetting some teams. I mean, the Dolphins look pretty bad right now, but they're going to get Tua back.
Yeah.
Just going from a roster, maybe the Patriots. Patriots are pretty bad too. Forgot
Yeah.
about them. So maybe there's five. Maybe those five. I guess.
Fair enough. We'll
Yeah.
say four plus Will Levis.
Right. Four
There you
plus
go.
the Levis. Exactly. Good lord, man. And I had some high hopes for that guy too. Last year he showed some signs. He won some big games. Game against Atlanta, I remember he threw like 3 touchdowns and like 350-yard plus touchdowns. I'm like, okay, this guy's got a cannon. Maybe he's
Yep.
something, but gosh, has he regressed already? And I mean, he slipped in the draft for a reason, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess he
Yep.
slipped for a reason. You know, these NFL guys sometimes they know what they're talking about, and then sometimes Brock Purdy happens. You never
Exactly.
know. You
Exactly
know,
right.
so it's
Yep.
tough.
Well, there you have it, guys. A lot of conversation about the NFL as always, and then a college-heavy episode. This is going to be a sick Saturday,
Yeah.
so keep tuning in, and we'll post again our picks everywhere. So if you like Bet on Us and you want to try and follow us, if you like BK or you like Sab, you want to pick one over the other, this is your chance to do so. So we're going to put that up everywhere. I know we did not hit baseball much this episode. Guess what? When we have our recap this week, be it Tuesday or Wednesday, we are going to be in the MLB playoffs.
It's playoff time.
I know it seems
Crazy.
like you'll never ever get there, guys. It's
Yeah.
a it's a 700 game season that goes for 5 years,
Yeah.
but we are finally getting to the playoffs. And just a little teaser. Remember, keep your eyes out. Obviously, I'm a Mets fan. I posted this morning. The NL wild card is
Oh,
crazy. It's crazy. We got a three-way tie with the Mets, the Diamondbacks, and the Braves. I've been saying for a long time, I think the Mets and Braves deserve to get in. So the Diamondbacks, who are in the lead there for a long time, I think they might slide out of position. So we're gonna
let's
see.
hope.
We got
Let's
a
hope.
double header with the Mets and Braves on Monday. This is
Oh,
crazy,
Subway
crazy.
Series is in jeopardy right now.
Yes,
Those odds are probably over plus 4,000 now after
yes,
after this. So if you
yeah.
ever want to bet that, bet it now because you probably won't get better odds than you will right now on that. So
Very true, very
yeah.
true.
And meanwhile, the Yankees clinched the AL East in case anybody was wondering.
Yeah.
So we're
Who
in. We
knew
got
if
the
they were going to
bye.
beat the Orioles? That was what was
Yeah.
going on with that.
The thing is, and I've said this. I know I said this probably before on the show, and I'll say it 100 times up until they're eliminated or win it all. Do it in the postseason. They love hitting the ball out of the park everywhere, and then they all hit below 200 when it comes postseason time. Do it in the postseason, boys. Please, please,
Yeah.
please, please,
Yes, we
please.
will see.
Goodness.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in.
All
Be
right.
sure to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out our picks for this week. I hope you have a good Saturday, a good Sunday, and a good Monday night.
Mm,
And then we'll see you for the midweek recap, and we'll be getting into the MLB playoffs and much, much more. Until
sir.
next time, see you, Sab.
Take care, buddy.